following is based on a true story. From owner Jerry Jones and head coach Wade Phillips comes the story of a team with a quest to rule the magical kingdom.
There was no suicide attempt.
I used my judgment to call 911.
I'm not getting interrogated for no reason.
Oh, it is fumbled by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone.
And when the drama ended, then came a love story like never before. Emerging from the pack, a hero for a new generation.
High play action, Romo. Down the right side into the end zone. Perfect throw. Touchdown, Terrell Owens.
The time is now, and the journey to Super Bowl 42 comes through Dallas. These Cowboys have one thing in mind: to go where no team has gone before. Seeking number 6, a true Cowboy story.
It's playoff time in the NFL, and it's time to talk a little Cowboys football again. And I'm just hoping the next hour is as good as that show open was. I'm Dale Hansen with the coach, Joe Avazano. And this is the year, at least I think it is, Joe, the Cowboys finally get a playoff win. It has been a while.
It's been a while, but when you get this kind of year, it kind of rejuvenates you again. Just like being down here, you let me come down to the big park right here.
Yeah, the big studio.
It's been a while, but I'm ready.
You ready now?
And this is a great year for the Cowboys. It is exciting.
We'll talk about this a lot as we go along tonight, you might imagine. But in all the years, have you ever seen a year that was a week that was as dumb as this one the Cowboys have had to deal with?
No, because there's a lot of people in your business, not you, of course.
Not me.
Because I've heard your comments on this that have focused on some things that are irrelevant. But that's what happens when you get an off week and you have too much time in your hands. And so you talk about subject matters that don't pertain to the playing of the football game.
Well, it is just about time to play the football game, and it's the third time around for the Cowboys and Giants. They started the year at Texas Stadium back in September, and it ends there for one of them Sunday. Joe Trahan's here tonight with more on Game 3. Joe?
Well, Dale, it's been 13 wins in the making. The Cowboys making their first trip to the divisional round of the playoffs in 11 years. And it's hard to believe, but it's the first ever postseason matchup between the Cowboys and Giants. But as you know, these teams are more than familiar, and familiarity can breed contempt. So this one has all the makings.
The team's energized, we're ready, we're excited. I mean, we worked hard to get to this point.
This is why you work as hard as you do throughout the offseason.
Good pocket. Deep ball. Got a man.
The Cowboys trying to pull off the 3-game sweep, but they'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. No smoke and mirrors here.
And, you know, 3 times, you see a team so many times, it's not a whole lot that you can really, out-scheme somebody with.
So like almost always in the postseason, quality quarterback play trumps all, meaning Tony Romo will have to shake off a late-season lull, not to mention his Mexican getaway with gal pal Jessica Simpson, and get back to the Romo we saw in the first 2 games against the Giants.
Witten caught it right down the middle. Touchdown.
We relish the moment because we enjoy these situations, this time, these games. I mean, the playoffs are what it's all about, and we just, we have a lot of fun preparing for a game like this.
The best news for Romo and perhaps the entire Cowboy Nation, Terrell Owens worked out full tilt with the team Thursday, and as only he could, deemed himself ready for action.
Oh, I'm going to play.
At what level?
I'm going to play.
At what level?
At a high level.
I don't need to see you at 50.
I'm going to be at a high level.
I don't need to see you at 80.
I'm not worried about nothing.
And Romo back 5 steps. Time over the middle. Owens. At the 25, he broke the tackle.
Owens' presence could be the difference, given the way the 2 earlier meetings played out.
The games were always a little bit closer than the score might have showed, but we hit them on some big plays. Really, that second game was a fight the entire game, but I just think our ability to get some big plays on them was a big thing we were able to do.
The other key for the Cowboys, keeping Romo upright. The Giants lead the league in sacks, and their defense is predicated on pressure.
You got to be aware of where they're at all times, their defensive ends, and really their entire defensive line. I mean, because they get to the quarterback, and if they're not getting sacks, they're getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's the way they play, and you know, once in a while, I'll give you a chance for a big play. But if you don't create them, then you know you're probably not in for a really fun night.
15th play of the drive, touchdown Giants.
The Giants riding an emotional high, coming off the franchise's first playoff win in 7 years. But they're taking the sarcastic route when it comes to being a 7-point underdog Sunday.
I mean, that whole team are all pros and Pro Bowlers and all that stuff going against us slapstick. So it should be interesting. If we're lucky, maybe we have a chance.
When you look at the challenges they present, 13 Pro Bowlers, I mean, it's like an all-pro team versus an all-Joe team. And we're going to go out there and try to give it our all.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys will give an all-out effort to put the brakes on big Brandon Jacobs. When he gets going, so does Eli Manning in that Giant offense.
As a front seven, that if we can contain him and keep him from breaking through the line of scrimmage, we'll give ourselves a big chance to win. And he has a lot to do with how that offense goes. So if we have success against him, we feel pretty good about the day.
Dallas is a great place to play. It's going to be loud. You know, the fans are going to be into it. You know, that's just all the more for us to go down there, and play good football.
You can look back at the other two games and learn from it, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean, this is a whole new game, whole new situation. So, that's what we're looking forward to, and it should be a good game.
And a physical one. And the team that's more intense and executes better should survive and advance.
There's no secret to it. They're a good football team. We're a good football team. It'll probably be a good game, and someone will make a couple plays to push the team over the top.
I love that part from Tony Romo. Anybody here buying the argument that you can't beat a good team 3 times?
I'm not. Are you, Coach?
Percentages show that you're not supposed to be able to, but doesn't it come down to just what happened Sunday?
But 11 of the 17 teams that have had a chance to do this have pulled it off, and they've won it. And I think the Cowboys end up being 12 of 18. That's 66%. That would get the president elected, wouldn't it?
Well, it should. And if Romo completes 66%, they're in great shape. All right, guys. Good stuff, Joe. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has taken the Cowboys fan on quite a ride since he bought this team in '89. 1-15 the first year, then 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, 10 years, and 3 coaches without a single playoff win, and now 13-3 and back on top again. I sat down with Jones at Valley Ranch earlier today, and he is a little bit happier now. You're in a pretty good place right now, aren't you?
Well, it feels good, and it feels good for everybody. From my perspective, for the fans, gives us an opportunity to compete for the big prize with some real weapons. And that is different than it's been the last several years.
Do you have any concerns about your quarterback, Tony Romo? First, let's take the easy one. Off the field?
No. And by the way, I've had in my tenure with the Cowboys concern about some players off the field, but not Tony.
On the field?
No, I don't. First of all, let's start with his health. He's healthy. He's ready to go. His thumb's no issue at all. And then I like the fact that he's had the experience, the pressure that he's had this year, including even I'll go back into last year. So he's got a lot more experience. I do know it's pretty easy for anybody to see the talent level that he can play at when he's playing well.
You know, we've done this a couple of times in the past, and I've been pretty hard on you in your role as general manager, but I think I'm casting my vote for you as executive of the year. Do you accept it?
Well, first of all, I'm so honored to have it, but no, that's a compliment, Dale, particularly because you have been one of my most negative critics as far as that role, but I think it works well for the Cowboys.
But as your role of general manager, from hiring coaches, signing free agents, and drafting players this year, is this not your best year?
Well, I think that I certainly was pretty proud of those years that we had when we actually won those Super Bowls, because we hired the coaches and we basically did the same thing and brought the players in. So those were great years. But as far as over the long haul, as far as having, if you will, learn more about what you're doing, then this is one of the best years, because this time last year, Bill Parcells was on the fence within weeks to move on down the road. And we were sitting here with really no offensive line. We were sitting here needing a head coach. We really need to make sure we had our future planned as far as our offense strategy is concerned. We've had a lot of plus things happen since about 10 months ago.
As emotional as you were that day you hired Wade Phillips, even then you didn't think it would turn out this good, did you?
The emotion was not about elation necessarily for Wade. It was more about we've got to get this thing right.
And you've done that now,
Here
haven't you?
we had been 4 years with Bill Parcells, who we thought we'd have more success with. And then we had our other years in trying to find us a quarterback. But all of those things that fans deserve better. And really, in going through, we made 11 interviews with coaches. But the idea was, man, this is like it was when we first started. We've got to do something right and get it right. So that day when we announced Wade Phillips was there, it was more about just, hey, there's just a lot at stake here on having him come in and coach.
You went through this in the 90s. When you have success, other NFL teams want your coaches. How much are you willing to do, or can you do, to keep Jason Garrett here?
Well, let's go back to your start of your question. The only other time that I've had almost 2 handfuls of Pro Bowlers right there with them was a raid on your coaching staff. Well, what that meant with all those Pro Bowlers and all those coaches that every other team wanted, then that brought a Super Bowl win to it. Now, if that'll happen this time, we'll all be happy. But I hope I get the third part of the trifecta that goes with that. But certainly, we know that, and everybody knows what I think of Jason Garrett, for instance. But I'm so proud that he's getting the opportunity, along with Tony Sperano. I'm so happy they're getting the opportunity to look at head coaching opportunities.
You wouldn't fire Wade Phillips and replace him with Jason Garrett just to keep Jason Garrett, would you?
No.
Have you even thought about it?
No, because we've won 13 games and it's been just 10 months. And I don't know how you could draw it up any better as far as a job that a head coach has done, that Wade has done. And he's excited, and not that that's the criteria, but the team's excited about his style and the way he's coaching this team, and the success is obvious.
Have you talked to the city about your parade plans yet?
Well, we don't go there. We've had a few past examples of why you don't let that get going, but I do know this. They know how to get a parade together pretty fast, and I'm sure it would be if we could bring home that Super Bowl trophy.
You disagree with any of that?
I can't believe that he would say you've been a negative critic.
I can't believe that either.
No, but there's been some legitimacy to it. However, if you're going to criticize, then you've got to say Owens, Garrett, Phillips, Davis, Hamlin have been great choices, and that's why you're correct in saying executive of the year. Coaches, go interview. It's not going to affect the game. Wade Phillips, fire him. Are you kidding me? Be like firing you. You're the big dog in town. You don't fire big dogs.
Jones did say when the interview ended and we're walking off there, he said, hey, Laura Miller is not the mayor anymore, so the parade should be very good.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Laura Miller's not the parade because I own a restaurant and a bar near downtown.
Get out of here. We'll go to New York and see what they're saying about the Giants there next.
Coming up, what's the New York media's take on this Cowboy-Giants matchup? We'll go live to New York to find out. Plus, Gordon Keith takes to the streets to find out your thoughts on the Tony Jessica thing. And later, Cowboys cornerback Terence Newman joins Dale and Coach Joe to preview the playoffs.
Giants ended the regular season almost beating the Patriots, win the playoff game at Tampa Bay, and there seems to be a lot of people in New York now who think the Giants will win Sunday, too. Scott Clark is the sports director at WABC in New York, been there a long time. What is the thinking in New York, Scott, about Sunday's game?
Well, it's been pretty much this football, Dale, all the way, all week long. All we've been talking about is just serious football. No Jessica Simpson. You know, believe me, you're going to see a lot of these with the Giants fans, I predict, in Texas Stadium. The Giants fans who come will have something about that with Jessica Simpson. But go ahead.
Well, I say teams don't usually lose a game and feel good about themselves, but the Patriots are that good. You think that loss helped this Giants team now?
Well, I think you make a good point. The NFL, it's about winning. I don't think you do any better by losing in any game. But I think if it helped one person, it helped Eli Manning. Because Eli did throw well. against the Patriots, and it brought him into Tampa Bay with the amount of confidence that he had, and he pitched the ball very well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of the best games he had all season and in his career.
But is Eli Manning a big-time quarterback or not?
He's getting there. I believe he is a big-time quarterback. As a matter of fact, he got to the playoffs earlier than his brother did, if you think about that. And of course, he had a different team. His team is better than the old Colts were before Peyton's team got better. But Eli Manning is a very good quarterback. He just lacks consistency. He's in 4 years of football now, and now this is kind of the time where it's do or die. Are you going to make it in the NFL or are you not? And I believe Eli is going to make it. He's made great strides this year.
Does receiver Plexico Burress play Sunday? There's really not any doubt about that, is there?
There is no doubt, Dale, and there has been a doubt each and every week about Plexico Burress. He never practices. He's had the ankle injury all season long, but when it comes game time, Plexico Burress is on the field, and he's usually contributing mightily for the New York Football Giants. So if you didn't see him on the field, it would be quite a big surprise. Look, Plexico Burress is going to be on that football field. He's had little time to rest his ankle, not as much time as he'd like, but it's going to be sore. He's going to get an operation after the season, but he's going to go.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. Keep the posters to yourself, by the way, but I appreciate the time.
Dale, take care. God bless.
Scott, thank you. Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo was saying the other day, a game like this one Sunday comes down to a couple of plays. The team that makes them wins, the team that doesn't won't. Romo has made a lot of those plays this year. Last couple of weeks, though, not so much. He's getting a lot of criticism for that trip to Mexico with Jessica Simpson last week, but when he sat down and talked Wednesday, how can you not come away feeling good about this guy?
I don't care about perception. I mean, perception of me doesn't affect me at all. You know, and when I say that, I mean, I understand that's what people look at, and people like to believe everything they read and hear and stuff, but I think I'm content in my own skin and who I am as a person, and what I've, tried to do to get to this point, that I don't feel the need to, live a life that's perceived. I don't want to be fake. I guess I don't think about it really the way that everyone talk. When people talk, and I just kind of laugh and keep going and play. And I try and do two things in my life. One is to work really hard at football. The other is to try and be a good person. And if I do those two things, I can sleep at night always, no matter what the outcome is. The reason I'm able to shrug off half the stuff that you guys all talk about is because I know none of you guys are going to remember me 8 years from now anyway. You know, I mean, the bottom line is you're going to play football, you're going to try and win as much as you can, you're going to go out here and fight like heck and compete because it's fun to do, and it's fun to play this game, and it's fun to be in the playoffs because of the finality of it. I know it's a fun thing for you guys to talk about, and it'll be a big radio thing, and everyone will talk, but, we've had a pretty successful year, but for me personally, our goal isn't to make the playoffs. It's not be in the situation, it's to win the Super Bowl. And I know you guys, the thing that irks me a little bit is when you guys talk about, it's unsuccessful if we don't make it to the Super Bowl. Well, I'm not trying to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not here to try and make the Super Bowl. We're trying to win it.
Well, we ran that the other night, but that's really good stuff. You disagree with any of that?
No, I've never disagreed with anything about Tony Romo. He loves playing the game. His philosophy of trying to be a good person, you're going to criticize that?
Not me.
Not you, and I know you won't, and you shouldn't. The kid will go out there and play his heart out on Sunday. If he plays good, Cowboys will win. If he doesn't, because he's a quarterback, then they may not win.
Well, that's brilliant. We'll continue with seeking number 6 right after this.
Still to come, Michael Irvin won 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. Does the playmaker think this team has what it takes? Also ahead, who is this current Dallas Cowboy that had aspirations to be a minister when he was a kid? And later, we're asking players and fans what their favorite Tony Romo touchdown of the year has been.
I've said this before, probably too many times, but I like good teams, like everybody does, but I really like good teams with a lot of good guys. And this Cowboys team has a bunch of them, like defensive end Chris Canty. Here's George Reba.
2 first-down play action.
Chris Canty just completed his 3rd season with the Cowboys as a defensive end.
What a workmanlike effort that was by Chris Canty.
But the rough and tumble world of the NFL is a far cry from his childhood in Charlotte, North Carolina. His mother, a Methodist minister, had a huge impact on his life.
My mom, she thinks I should be a pastor because I like to speak a lot in front of the church and getting up on the pulpit and preach like a sermon.
You got an early start, huh?
Yeah. No, it's just, you look up to your parents, and of course my mom was, every son is close to their mother, so she was a preacher and she did it every Sunday, so of course I had a desire to, want to emulate her when I was little.
Canty didn't play football until his junior year in high school and didn't play sports until his parents made him choose between a job or extracurricular activities.
He was a basketball player. And when he came to Charlotte Latin School, he was about 6'4", about 185 pounds. He was a tall, skinny drink of water.
The first time he played football, Canty wasn't exactly impressed by the game.
First time he really banged into somebody, he hurt his elbow, and came to one of my coaches and said, I don't think I like this football thing. It's a little too rough for me. So we talked him into sticking with it, and by the time he graduated, we couldn't allow him to go full speed in practice because he kept hurting all the other guys.
By the time he graduated from high school, Canty had earned all-state honors as a tight end and defensive end. He played college football at Virginia, where his senior season ended with an injury. His family background has always been a stabilizing force.
I think it made me a lot tougher, just understanding, who God is and who Jesus Christ is in my life, and, just the strength that He's given me to do great and amazing things, and so just the confidence and the toughness to persevere.
I think it's critical in the development of an individual and development of a family. Everybody has struggles, and we all have our struggles, but I think that's been a tremendous asset to Chris, because knowing that he has that family support.
He's a typical Dallas Cowboy. He loves it. He loves the game. He has a passion for it. He has compassion for his teammates, and he wants to go out there and win.
And good night, nurse.
And as his mom, and folks always ask him, well, your mom's a pastor. What do you think about that? He said, my mom tells me every Sunday, go out there and kick butt.
Canty says he could still become a minister someday, but right now football is his life. He says the Cowboys are a commitment, but becoming a minister, now that's a real commit. George Reba, Channel 8 Sports at Valley Ranch.
Still to come, the playmaker Michael Irvin is talking Cowboys football. And we'll take a look back at the great Tony Romo touchdowns of 2007.
Well, the tickets, Gordon Keith joined us at the big desk tonight. You ever heard of this guy, Joe?
The Gordon Keith?
The Gordon Keith.
I'll tell you what, I remember him when he was just Gordon Keith, not the star. One of the first bits Gordon ever did was he did the fake Coach Joe, and he used to talk about my big Super Bowl.
Super Bowl ring.
And this was the one. And then I've met Gordon a long time ago. I've always thought he was very talented. And I've changed my opinion over the years. However, we don't have time to talk about that.
You were initially wrong, is the thing. Yeah, actually, I wasn't imitating him. I was imitating the Doc from Back to the Future. And it just
worked out that way.
You're the first one that put that tag on me.
I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure it's funny.
Christopher Lloyd.
I'm almost afraid to ask. What have you got for us here?
Well, Dale, as you know, the media has experienced a feeding frenzy on the carcass of Simsomo, which is what I call the celebrity coupling of Tony and Jessica. And so I decided to take the question to the people to find out what the real people are saying about Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson, and I got some revealing answers. Take a look. What kind of man gets really successful and then starts immediately looking for eye candy? I went among the Cowboy faithful to talk to them about Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson. Are the Cowboy fans upset with his budding romance? Are you upset that your big-time star quarterback is playing footsie in Mexico when he should be breaking down defenses?
A little bit.
Are you enjoying the romance between Tony and Jessica?
No, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan.
And they went down to Mexico together.
Okay.
And people think that was distracting to him as a Cowboy quarterback. I guess there really is no question involved, is there?
Everybody gets a day off. He just happens to be with a movie star, so everybody takes more account to it.
Do you think that this is an obsession with the press or just an obsession of yours late at night?
It's I don't think about it that much. Maybe the press, or y'all the press.
Marginally.
I just don't think that there should be any relations between Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson, because she's just screwing up the Cowboys' chance at winning Super Bowl.
I mean, he's a football player. He knows when he's on the field, that's his job and that's what he does. And their relationship has nothing to do with how he plays.
Tony Romo, Jessica Simpson, comments?
No comments.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Would you rather Tony just wear a chastity belt throughout the season?
Yes, I would, actually. If it gets us to the playoffs and a championship, please.
You ever worn one of those?
No, I haven't.
I'm wearing one right now.
I thought.
Do you think Tony Romo has ever been confronted by a drunken Nick Lachey outside Texas Stadium? No. If you had sudden success like Tony seems to have had, would you go on a nookie tear?
I don't need sudden success for that.
So you're not opposed to Mexican vacations?
Not at all.
You busy weekend?
Yes.
Would you ever date Jessica Simpson?
No.
Why not?
She's a woman. Yeah, I'm gonna out myself on television here. Yeah, that would do it right there.
Okay. Well, now that we know what quarterback kryptonite is like, should we send like a drunken Lindsay Lohan over to Eli Manning's?
Oh, most def. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You get the man to out himself. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you understand? But
Not at all. Hey, you know what? It was his time to shine.
He got
and boy,
his
did
time.
he sparkle.
He got his time on TV.
Boy, he stymied you. One of the few times I
He
see
did.
you
Me too.
speechless.
Yeah.
I'm talking to another one of my favorite guys, linebacker Brady James, next.
Coming up next, Cowboys linebacker Brady James, one-on-one, as seeking number 6, the road to Super Bowl 42 continues.
Cowboys fans have waited a long time to see their team win a playoff game. Not nearly as long as some NFL teams, but the Cowboys have never been just some NFL team. Cowboys linebacker Brady James knows that and says the wait for a playoff win is over. Brady, it's been a long time since the Cowboys have won a playoff game. Why will this year be any different?
Well, you know, we've been working, and I think we've put together some goals during the regular season, and we met every goal. And now it's the postseason, and this is our first chance to start our streak of meeting those goals too. So it's about that time. It's been 11 years, and everybody's waiting, everybody's anxious. So we're looking forward to going out there and doing what we can do.
Do you think failures of years past carry over at all into this playoffs?
I mean, I wouldn't want to think so, because we gained some experience from the last Seattle game, our last playoff game, and people have asked me, do I think about that? And I don't think about that because you know, this is a new scheme, new team, new coaching staff, and we've accomplished so much. And you know, you look at the past, but you just continue to move forward, and that's what we got to do. We're just going to move forward from that.
What about the problems you had in December? Or was the play in December a problem going into January?
Well, you know, you want to go into the playoffs hitting your stride. And we've had some unfortunate circumstances. The last game was not as pretty. We had some key guys that didn't even make the trip, and we kind of let a team get into the playoffs, but that's over with.
Well, but the last game I don't think is a concern, but the Philadelphia game is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the Philadelphia game, it was just a good game. Those guys played as well. You know, they've been the NFC East champs for the past 5 or 6 years out of 6 years, and so they showed up, and it was some things that we had to learn. And one thing defensively I think we took from that game is you can't put your whole future in our offense or another person's back pocket. We've been playing that way all season, where if we just get the ball back to our offense, they can take care of it. But it's a team game, and sometimes we might have to just take over defensively. It was our first time seeing that our offense wasn't able to be high-powered.
But do you have a defense that can take over and win a game?
Well, defenses win championships. So if we can't do it, then you know, we'll be here at some point with a loss in postseason. So we have to make sure we can do our part.
When you look at the Giants, what concerns you about that team now? The running of a Brandon Jacobs or the passing of an Eli Manning?
I think they are a pretty good playoff team because they run the ball well, they throw the ball well, they have good pass rushers on the defensive side of the ball, and they play pretty good defense. So what concerns me on the defensive side of the ball is really getting my guys ready to go out there and do what we can do. We hadn't been fearful of any team. We take on all challenges, and every week we've been pretty much successful. So with Brandon Jacobs coming in, he's going to run. We know that they're going to run the ball, and we just have to stop the run. And when they pass the ball, we got to stop the pass.
You talked about the goals that you had in San Antonio training camp. Did you think it was realistic that you would be where you are now?
That's why you set goals. You don't know. At the beginning of the year, everybody had the same goals in mind. And it's, I guess, it's 32 teams set out to win the Super Bowl. And here we are, we're still playing. We're going to be one of the maybe 8 teams that's still left here in a minute. And so we didn't know what to expect, but we hit our stride, and we've been playing pretty good ball, and now it's that time to really put it all together.
Is LSU really the best college team in America?
We proved it the other night. So, Ohio State, y'all saw what happened.
Well, I'm not sure I buy that, but one of the reasons I find it so incredibly funny that so many seem to think the Cowboys can't win Sunday because of Tony Romo's trip to Mexico is because I remember the great teams of the 90s and what some of those guys used to do. Michael Irvin was a huge part of the Cowboys story back then, on and off the field. Here's Aaron Hawksworth.
I must get naked first, he'll get naked, and then hopefully we can get all of y'all naked as we just open up and talk about real issues. It is a great honor.
For Hall of Fame receiver Michael Irvin, in many ways, football has been his purpose in life. At age 41, through his new ESPN radio show, he's found a way to stay around the game, yet connect with people on a daily basis.
Now, we will not break any FCC rules, but we will not live by those PC rules.
Why now? Why this time in your life did you decide to get together with Kevin and do the radio?
I wanted to do something right here at home so I can get an opportunity to watch my boys play football, spend some more time at home with my family, get on a more regular schedule like the rest of America, Get up, Michael, go to work, come home.
I have a gift of gab. That I have no problem doing, talking. Talking the talk is one thing, but walking the walk is another.
Irvin knows how difficult walking the walk can be on and off the field, and is able to use his experiences to connect with current NFL players such as Cowboys receiver Terrell Owens, who he talks to on a regular basis, and most recently about his ankle injury.
When he goes through these injuries, he really gets bunkered in with the Bible, gets to praying, and gets up in that chamber and try to get healthy.
Well, Dallas is kind of riding on that ankle right now. They need his ankle.
Yeah, that's the first thing I said to him weeks ago with an ankle injury. And I hit him, I said, "How are you doing?" He was talking about, "I'm doing okay." I said, "Boy, you got a city riding on your ankle. It's just the whole city is riding on your ankle." And he said, his exact words were, "I know."
The Cowboys offense definitely won't be as explosive without him, though.
I'm anxious to see how explosive he is, because it will determine how explosive the Cowboys offense is. And I get so sick and tired of hearing people talking about, just hand the ball off to Marion Barber more. Shut up. That's not your MO. That's not how you win football games.
If anyone knows about winning, it's Michael Irvin. As an analyst, he's noticed something different about Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo's demeanor this week.
I thought it was interesting as I watched him on TV, an adverse attitude towards the media, where I'm saying, wow, that's out of character now. I don't worry about what everybody's doing. You stay in character. You stay who you are. Get back to joking. Get back to having fun. And you'll get back to playing well.
Do you think this team is good enough to go to the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. Absolutely. With a healthy T.O.
Aaron Hawksworth, Channel 8 Sports.
Thinking back to those days in the 90s, knowing what some of those guys were doing, how the heck did you ever win a ball game back then?
Yeah, boy, talk about a gift of gab. I mean, this guy, when he walks in a room, he dominates the room. And we had high character guys, and I know we had issues. But when we stepped on the field, people depend on other people. You were accountable, and we had good players that played good at the right time.
I do think Michael makes a great point, though. I mean, everybody keeps saying that defense wins championships, but you have to score points, and this team, to win, is going to have to do it with their offense and Terrell Owens.
Yeah, I don't believe the defense wins championships. I never have. Our defense, the Giants averaged 27 points against our defense this year in the 2 games. Our defense will play hard. They will contain the Giants. But the Cowboys are going to have to score more points, period. If it's a 10-6 game, the Cowboys lose.
We will talk a little Cowboys defense with cornerback Terence Newman. He joins us right here next.
Up next, Cowboy cornerback Terence Newman in studio. Seeking number 6, the road to Super Bowl 42 will continue after this.
Cowboys quarterback Terence Newman joined us now. All right, Terence, is this team all set and ready for Sunday?
We're pretty focused right now. You know, we know what we have at hand. Everybody's anxious to see if T.O. is going to play or not. And of course the Romo vacation. We put all that past us and we're ready to go.
All right, we were talking about this with Michael Irvin a moment ago. Does a defense win a championship, or better yet, can this Cowboys defense win a championship?
Definitely. Offense wins games, defense wins championships. We've had to step up a couple of times this season. But for the majority of the season, offense has put up, points, and we've did our part. You remember Buffalo and, Philly, we played a good game in Philly. We helped out in Buffalo. We did our part, but offense is so explosive, they're putting points up, left and right, with a healthy T.O., of course.
Well, Dale, excuse me.
Feel free, go ahead.
Excuse me, I have to look. When they put the big man in the middle, it's a little hard to see.
Yeah, I understand. Let me lean around.
In the locker room, with all this stuff swirling around about Tony and all this, how much do the players pay attention to it?
We think it's kind of, comical because Tony went to Mexico, but also Jason Witten and Bobby Carpenter, but their names aren't brought up, So for us, we understand what's going on.
Great point. So when you get down to it and you go to play the ball game, what wins the game? What are the factors that win a game in your mind?
We always talk about, executing on offense and defense. Turnovers, of course, getting them and not giving them away. And obviously, the intangibles, winning the special teams. So if we can do those things, we'll definitely be good.
Then why aren't you returning punts?
Well, here, it is the Dale Hansen Show. What does concern you more, though, going into Sunday's game, despite all that X's and O's stuff? I mean, the Cowboys have to concern themselves with stopping the run or stopping the unbelievably good Eli Manning throwing the football.
If we can stop the run, we definitely can stop the pass. A team that can run and pass the ball is way more dangerous than a team that just can pass the ball, because obviously they're unpredictable. So if we can make them, one-sided, we'll definitely have a better shot.
Is Barris one of the best?
You know what? I've definitely got to tip my hat to him because he's played the whole season hurt, and he's put up some pretty big numbers.
You don't have any doubt that he's going to play, though, do you?
Yeah, no, he's going to play for sure. But at the same time, I've been hurt all season. I went out there and I put my hard hat on and I've worked hard as well. So that's the way our defense is played, So.
Are you healthy? I mean, or at least what percentage would you say you're at?
I don't know percentages. I mean, I'm not 100%, but at the same time.
Have you been at any time this season?
Before, I think maybe our second preseason, I was 100%, and that was been the last time since I've been 100%. But at the same time, if you're on the field, you got to produce.
All right, speaking of that little 3 days off you had, what'd you do on those 3 days?
I went back home and just visited some friends and family.
Did you have like a really hot-looking pop star?
I didn't, and I was actually disappointed that they didn't invite me to, Mexico, because I probably would have did that for sure.
Terrence, thank you very much, buddy. Cowboys quarterback Terence Newman. We're coming right back with more of Seeking Number 6.
What was your favorite Tony Romo touchdown of 2007? That story is next.
If the Cowboys are going to get their record 6th Super Bowl win this year, break the tie they have now with the Steelers and 49ers, quarterback Tony Romo is going to have to get him there. The year he's had has got him here, but the real season begins now. Here's Ted Madden.
Snap is back, lots of time, throws it in the end zone. Witten caught it right down the middle, touchdown.
Joey Porter's got him dead to rights. He's going down, and the ability to stay focused down the field.
Tony Romo set a team record with 36 touchdown passes this year. Among those, a few really stand out.
I formation, Owens, the only wide receiver, motion to the right.
When T.O. caught it with one hand, I thought it was a great pass. He put it where he had to put it, and I thought it was a great catch by Terrell.
Running, juggling, grabbing, touchdown, Terrell Owens.
There was one in Detroit, just an 8-yarder in the box score, where Romo saw the blitz coming and threw a perfect rainbow to Marion Barber.
Strolls in for the touchdown.
DeMarcus Ware's favorite happened in that same game just a little later. The 16-yarder to Jason Witten that won the game.
Caught it for a touchdown. What a job of quarterbacking your team from the 17-yard line with no timeouts.
When you throw those touchdowns and wins games, that's when, you know, everybody really remember, you know, those plays, and I think everybody's going to remember that this year.
On 2nd and 10, Romo trying to make a play, fires wide open, touchdown.
But most of the guys we talked to brought up one touchdown in particular.
Yes, the one against New York.
Out of the eye, play fake on the draw.
He gets pressure, he moves around.
Romo in trouble, running up the middle.
He starts to run, he ducks away from pressure and then
Keeps, throws it in the end zone, wide open, caught.
I don't know where or how or when he saw Tony Curtis and just threw the ball as he was getting hit, you know, for a touchdown.
It was really designed for the 2 middle routes, but they doubled Witten, so he left me wide open in the corner, so he just tossed me the ball.
You know, that's just, you're just moving and you're about to go down and you see someone out of the corner of your eye, put his hand in the air and no defender, so you just throw him and give him a chance.
We still don't know if he was trying to throw it there or was he just throwing it out of bounds. He still won't tell us the truth. He just says he sees him. We know he didn't. There's just no way.
The snap over the head of Romo, and now it's a foot race.
There is one play that didn't result in 6 points. It didn't result in 6 yards, but it may be the defining play of the season for Romo.
First down, Dallas, unbelievable.
Don't give up a touchdown and don't get killed. Those are the 2 things, but once you pick it up, you know, which took a while, you just try and make a play and, you know.
And Romo with the awareness of knowing where he's got to go to get to the first down. You don't think they'll be showing this clip for years to come, do you?
He kind of looked like Randall Cunningham back there, didn't he? But he had a little Romo magic. It was a good play.
But it's not magic, at least not all of it. Romo spends a lot of time studying film, so he knows where the defensive players are, and more importantly, where they're not.
Oh yeah, he is very studious and, you know, works really hard at his craft. There's no question about that, and understands coverages and how they're trying to defend, and, you know, he has the ability to play the game at his speed, and that's a real good quality for a quarterback.
One reporter who has been creating as much news as she's been covering this week says we haven't seen Romo's best touchdown.
Well, I believe that the favorite one is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Ted Madden, Channel 8 Sports at Valley Ranch.
Oh, my goodness, what a great way to wrap it up. So which Romo do you think we see Sunday? The one that we saw there for most of the first 12 weeks or so, or the one the last couple of weeks?
Look, Tony Romo has revitalized this town, along with his teammates. It's a great year. Romo's the key to it. I expect Romo to play well. That means the first 12 weeks, I guess.
Anyway, as Romo was saying during the week, we talked about this earlier, that there were going to be, this should be a game rather, where there's going to be a couple of plays that decided. But even with the great teams you had in the 90s, it was the same way then.
Oh, it's always the same way, Dale. Look, everybody's going to get all excited for Sunday. I am, you are, the people, the fans, the crowd's going to go crazy, the players are going to jump on each other's back, and then the game's going to start. And oh, by the way, it's going to be a football game. 4 or 5 plays will determine the outcome of the game. Turnovers will determine the outcome of the game. Hopefully the Cowboys have more turnovers from them than we give them. If we do, we win.
All right, 5 seconds. They win?
Yes.
Score?
32-24. I have no idea where I came up with that.
That's close enough. All right, Joe, thank you very much. The Cowboys and the Giants Sunday at 3:30. Joe and I will be back Sunday night on Sports Special. And if the Cowboys do win Sunday, we'll be back next Friday night at 7. We'll do this all again as the Cowboys start their playoff run seeking number 6. I'm Dale Hansen. For Joe Avazano and everyone who's been a part of this one, we do thank you for watching. Good night.
Back, pressured by Hatcher, throws it right. Henry intercepted at the 28 again. Right to the 20, sideline to the 10. Anthony Henry. The snap over the head of Romo, and now it's a foot race. Romo can't get on top of it. Finally does. Will try and make something happen. Tony Romo doing his thing. First down, Dallas. Unbelievable.
Another try for Folt. 53 to win. The ball is good. The kick is good. This is the most improbable, impossible win. Good snap and hold. The kick is blocked. And it's recovered by Pat Watkins. And he's running left at the 35, at the 40. Watkins to midfield. Watkins to the 30. Watkins to the 10. Pat Watkins with lead. Romo back with time. Deep middle width. Lost his helmet. Keeps running without a hat.
I've always liked him, but now I like him more than ever.
And back he goes. Blitz is coming, and Ware's got him. There's the sack for the All-Star. Romo fake draw, back with a pocket, deep to the right side. Oh, it's 25. Broken tackle. Here he goes to the 10. Start pouring the mold for the statue. Play fake, throws it in the end zone. Jason Witten caught it for a touchdown.
The legend continues to grow for Tony Romo.
And the Dallas Cowboys are the champions of the NFC East.